about here today is using bass lines to connect chords, right? I mean, I guess you can call them bass lines. Single note runs, maybe. And everything that I do, it comes from the scale, right? So I know, like in this case, I was basically taking a G chord here, and I'm keeping these two fingers down here the whole time from the G chord. And I'm basically going to an E minor 7. So I'm just bringing these two up like an E minor, except I've kept keeping these two down. And then I'm forming a C add 9, which is like a G, except these two are just down here. And then I'm basically doing what is like an A7 sus4 chord. Sounds like a lot, but so that's just, again, keeping these two down here, but then putting the index on the second of the D and then the middle on the second of the G. So you gotta kind of squish them in there a little bit, right? So now instead of just that, I'm trying to make it more interesting. So if you've been watching any of my videos lately, this is what I've been trying to talk a lot about, is just, you know, just trying to make things more interesting, challenge yourself, take things further, right? So this, now what I did here was I was walking down the G, from the G into the E, and then I was walking into the C add 9, and then I was walking down from the C into the A, and then I walked back up to go back to G. So bass line. Right? So now when I put that, now I'm doing this a little bit more, I'm challenging myself here. You wouldn't necessarily have to do it the way I'm doing it, but I don't know if you noticed in the beginning, is I didn't stop the down up motion. So even when I was picking, see that even when I'm picking the single note bass line, I didn't stop, I didn't go, let's hear, I didn't go like that, right? I kept my right hand moving and just picked this with the same down up. Right? That's tricky. That's tricky. But it's good practice, right? Because, you know, if we can not stop our right hand, even when I went into the A or to the C add 9, I walked from the A and walking back down from the, so okay, so I walked down 1, so it's 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. So all the moves here are going to be happening, the bass line are going to be happening on beat 4 of the bar. 4 and 1. 4 and 1. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. So now I use the A, and I'm keeping these down. You got, that's kind of the big thing here. So open A, second fret of the A with the index, middle finger goes to the 3rd fret, and right then you form that C, add 9 chord. And then we're just taking those 3 notes and we're reversing it, right? We're going back down to the A, okay? Pretty simple, right? Okay, but I'm keeping that alternate picking going here, right? We form that A7 sus4 chord that I showed you before. And then we walk back into the G with open low E, 2nd fret of the low E, into your G chord, right? E minor 7, walking into the C add 9, walking to the A, and then walking back into the G, okay? What other things you could do? So I could pick it too. Again, I could try to challenge myself. It's tricky for me, right? So it's something that I gotta work on right there. But again, I try to keep the picking So what I'm doing is I'm picking down to the D string. So I'm going E, D, G, B, G, D. Right? Or actually I'm going E, D, E, D, E, D, G, B, D, G. And then the D at the end. Walking down, and I would keep that basically the same picking as I go to each chord, you know. Right? Right? Okay. Let's see here. You could try to, what other ways here? So now what I'm doing is I'm just down strumming everything, but I'm trying to get the hits in there, right? Let's see here. Okay, so again, it's like try to come up and play things the same thing in as many different ways as possible. Okay, it's really important that you kind of explore all possibilities when you're doing stuff like this, right? What else? I mean, again, I could start hybrid picking it, right? Okay. So let's move on. So that's a fun one. And then if we go to C, like walking down to A minor is very common. So that's really easy. It's just, we've already done the bass line from the first progression. So you take your C and you just go 3, 2, open on the A string. Now let me go back real quick. I just want to make sure I reiterate this from the first progression. Like everything that I was doing for the bass lines was based around the G major scale, right? So I'm seeing that, and then I also know I have F sharp in E. So I see that scale around the chords, and that's what's allowing me to play all the bass lines, right? Anytime you're adding a note onto a chord, any way, or a moving bass, it's always from the scale, right? So this is why it's really important to know the key you're in, and to know the scale of the key around all the chords, okay? All right, so back to the C chord here. So again, if I'm going to C to A minor, well, I can walk into that, using C, B, A. Again, that's the 3rd fret of the A, 2nd fret of the A, and open A. So kind of the same thing, right? And I could walk into F, so I could do the F like this, the root on the D string, and I could walk, right? I'm just kind of the same thing on the A string for C, but moving it down. So I walked into the F using open D, 2nd fret of the D, and then the 3rd fret of the D, because that's an F. So again, I could, now I chromatically walked into G there. So now I'm just going C to A minor to F, and then walking chromatically into G, and that was just going 1 on the low E to 2, and then into my G, right? Okay? So that's, the F sharp isn't technically a scale tone, but it works because we're just moving chromatically. I'm not hanging on that F sharp long enough for it to become established to where your ear would be like, whoa, that doesn't sound right, okay? I could have also just stayed scalar and played E, F, G, right? So I'd get here. C, going open A, just like we did before. Open A, first open A, second fret. So the bass line for this would be. Or on the G, you play E, F, G. Either one would be fine, okay? Let's see here. Again, you could explore picking right? So you just kind of keep messing around with the hits, right? So let's see here, what else can we do? We could take E major. And by the way, so this stuff too, you know, well, I'll do this at the end here. I'll talk about practicing stuff with a metronome. So if we go to E major, let's say. So we get that going. Now I'm gonna go E, A. I'm gonna use E, A, and B7. So maybe a little bit more of a country thing. That going, I'm getting that alternating E string, down up strum on the bottom few strings, then the A string. Now I'm walking into A, I'm going A major, I'm going F sharp, G sharp. Now notice I don't go to A here, I go to the open A. And remember, now these notes are right from the key of E, right? And you see my E major scale. Right? But I'm starting at F sharp, so now on the A, I'm hitting the A, down up strum, and then the open low E for the kind of that alternating. And I'm reversing it. I'm bringing it back down to E, 4th fret, the low E second. Now I'm walking into B chromatically, open A, the 1st fret of A sharp, or B flat, and then into my B, but I'm forming my B7 chord. And then my bass line for this is going middle from the bass note, the note B, and I bring my middle finger up to the 2nd of the low E, right? And we get that, okay? And I'm walking right back down. All right, so. Take the key of D, right? Same kind of thing. So we could, you know, so there, I'm just the D now, I'm just open D, down up strum, open A. So. Then open E to walk into the G. Now I'm thinking the key of D, so it's like seeing a D major scale or understanding the notes in the D major scale. And then open E, 2nd fret, low E, to G. And then we're going to walk into the A chromatically, G, G sharp, and now instead of going to this A again, we go to our open A, and then we walk back to D, going on the 2nd fret of the A string to the 4th fret, and instead of going to D here, we play our open D with our chord. Let's say we wanted to go, let's see here, we want to go to E minor. To B minor. So now these are other other chords. These are other chords in the key of D. You know, I don't think I really had done a minor chord. Well, I did A minor and C, but I was kind of keeping things pretty simple here. But so now this would be like going a new part or something in a song, right? Right. So I'm just, you know, you gotta, if you understand the chords in a key, and then you understand and see the scales, this is how you can just start, you know, coming up with your own things, right? And just kind of messing around with them. Okay, so I'm just gonna, you know, I'm gonna do this here. I'm gonna do the metronome. So, because this is something I really haven't been doing a lot of when I'm doing these videos, these lessons, is talking about a metronome. I know that for some of you that's, you know, like, you don't want to hear that in some ways because it's tough to play with. And, you know, I just have to say this, that timing, rhythm and timing is the most important to all music. And, you know, it's the one thing that people don't work on. I mean, this all comes from my own experience of teaching guitar for so long, is that what I find is people don't play along with songs. They're not playing at home with any type of beat, a drum beat, a metronome, nothing. So it's like you're practicing, but the most important thing is you're not doing, and that's trying to play in time. So, you know, like, think about that just for a second. You know, like, if you're not yielding the results that you want, well, I mean, that's part of it, right? So, you know, if I took this, let me just, let's see here. So for me, you know, I'm practicing 120, right? Feel I'm right on those downbeats. Okay? So, and you can see how I'm putting myself. All right, let me turn accent on beat 1 so you can actually hear when I change to each bass. And you can hear I'm on beat 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hear that, right? So I'm right on beat 1 when it's changing. So I know I'm in time, okay? So for you do this stuff, try to use a metronome if you can, okay? All right, well, I will stop this lesson here for today. I appreciate it if you've actually made it through this whole video. Please like, subscribe. If you want lessons, contact me, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much.